Two Queers and a Truck. And I'm Billy James Gunn, and my sidekick, Christian Cano, partner with Gunn, is coming up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim's sidekick. Welcome to Two Queers in a Truck. Hi y'all.
See you soon. Good morning, everybody. It is Two Queers and Truck time, and it is mid-October already. We're in the heart of the spooky season. My favorite time of the year as far as holidays go. I love the cosplay. I love the Halloween parties, the street fairs, the trick-or-treaters, of course, is a blast to see the kids get all excited, which is one of the funnest things, and it's just a neat time of the year. But we'll jump right into that because I'm sure nobody wants to tune in and listen to me rant about Halloween for an hour or half hour. But anyway, we got a lot to talk about. We had a 2-week vacation, kind of a fall break to handle the personal stuff, caught up all the summer craziness, and we are back in full force. Which is good news for all of our listeners. And we had a lot happen in a month. So we haven't recorded any shows in a month. The last two new and original shows were recorded before our break. And then we did a 2-week vacation. And gosh, we've been dealing with Charlie Kirk stuff and talk show suspensions and reinstatements. And Jimmy Kimmel,
Exactly.
He was more Jesus than any of the fucking Republicans are. I mean, he went away for 3 days and he rose again.
He sure did. Hey, that's a good one. That's a good title of a show. Yeah.
and we're seeing, people fighting back, and we're seeing, rays of hope. And then, we also have the government's shutdown. The fourth one in 5 years during Trump administrations. It's kind of the MO of this president is if he doesn't get his way, he just lets the government lapse, which is the ultimate irresponsibility. But that's how he ran his businesses. He bankrupted every business he ever had. So, because he doesn't know how to turn a profit, but just, run a scam. And the way he runs the government is the ultimate Ponzi scheme. But yeah, we're a few days into the government shutdown, and it's going to be one of these things. We'll see how long it lasts. Hopefully, by the time this is broadcast, it'll already be over. And honestly, it's a distraction. If they shut down the government and Congress doesn't meet up, then they don't have to vote on the Epstein thing. And we all know Trump is going to do everything he can to keep that from being released. And he's fighting hard. He does not want this to come out. He doesn't want to be accountable. It is something we were talking about all off air. Republican Nazi politics is basically cockroach politics. You just survive in the dark as long as you can. And you just outlast people, and they don't care how many times you try to exterminate them. They're just going to keep coming. And what we've got to fight back is as the opposition is the people that are not only out of power, nationally, but we also have to prevent fatigue. We've also got to learn how to press on the gas and rest at the same time and realize life goes on and that we can't take every loss because we're going to lose some battles. I mean, between now and the midterms, it's going to get ugly. They're going to make it as ugly and as punitive as possible. They're going to get their licks in because they know they're going to lose the midterms. They know they're going to get slaughtered next year. If the Democrats have a half a brain, which is questionable, we blew it during Biden, so we clearly are not the smartest party at times when it comes to strategy. We just think we're smarter, which is a problem in itself. But if we do our jobs, and they're making it real easy to do our jobs, if the trends follow all the special elections and all the 2025, primaries and elections, it should be a landslide in the congressional midterms. It should be every contest next year should be a walkaway victory for the Democrats because the economic catastrophes nationally between this year and next year should mount good enough that we should be able to say the old, Clinton line, which is it's the economy stupid. We should be able to win that. This ICE thing, violations of human rights, and unfortunately, there's going to be a hell of a track record to be able to push back against this current iteration of MAGA Nazism, and it shouldn't be that hard to make that case. In any part of the United States, whether it's a red or a blue state, here in California, we're doing our part, which is, passing a law to be able to rewrite the redraw the districts, which is probably going to pass overwhelmingly, and is keep MAGAs around the country from redrawing their districts and hijacking the election. And it has a codicil in it to where it will be a 5-year redrawing, and it'll go to a committee in 2030. Long after Trump is either out of office or left this earth, and it puts California on the same playing field as any red state, which allows us to balance out national politics, and there's just no other way of saying it. Is that we have to fight fire with fire, and every blue state governor in every blue state is gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to fight fire with fire, and if they're going to be allowed to redraw districts mid decade, which they're not supposed to be able to do, which is Texas has already done, and if the Supreme Court allows it to happen, which I believe they already have, then we should be able to do it too. It shouldn't depend on whether it's a red or a blue state. If it's constitutional, it's constitutional, and I don't think it's going to matter anyway, because there's some red districts that have turned out for blue candidates. The Democrats are winning double-digit wins in places where they couldn't win even a year ago. So I think, hopefully, I say this with cautious optimism because I was optimistic in 2021. And Democrats broke my heart again, just like they did in 2016. 2024 and 2022 was more of a disappointment than 2016 was. 2016 was heartbreaking. After 8 years of Obama and 8 years of progress, we elected a dictator. And we should have learned that lesson, especially with the COVID disaster and the COVID recession brought on by President Trump's incompetence, just gross negligence and incompetence and lunacy that he brought to the table. We brought it back. We rewarded them with a 2022 win of the legislature, the national legislature, even after seeing Roe versus Wade returned in that same year. So I don't understand progressive and liberal women in this country. I don't understand women at all that could ever vote for a Republican in the same year that Roe versus Wade got struck down. And let that sink in. And I don't understand how twice in less than a decade women voted for a male candidate over a female candidate. Like, we had 2 shots to have a female president. 2 shots in less than a decade. With 2 more qualified women than their male counterpart on the other side of the aisle. When many of human rights are on the block, the chopping block, so to speak. And I don't get it. And I don't get how fast the Women's March just went away. I don't understand how plastic banana the women's rights movement is, and how shallow it is, and how lackluster it is, and how women just stepped away. And I'm saying this as a trans woman, as somebody that's worked in feminist circles, that has done political work for female candidates. I don't understand how women shrink from the fight so bad, and how they didn't get Harris or Clinton over the finish line in their respective elections. And I do blame women for this. And we're going to continue this subject when we come back from the break with some more stuff from Two Queers in a Truck after these messages. Hey, everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in, and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Queers in a Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye, boo. Happy Pride. Hey, y'all. Thanks for listening to Two Queers in a Truck. And we do broadcast on YouTube and Facebook in a video version. And we're also on all the audio platforms out there. So your favorite way to listen to your podcast. We've been doing this for a couple years, and we appreciate y'all listening. We know you have a ton of choices, even though we may be the best choice. We always appreciate our listeners, and we'll try to bring you quality in the future. Thanks for listening. As always, Christian and Jenny, we're out. Thank y'all. And I'm saying this with all sincerity and respect, but I'm calling out women, and specifically liberal and progressive women, and even air quotes the moderate women. Which I don't really believe there's moderates. I think there is people that float in the middle because they just don't want to be public about their politics, that are registered Democrats or left-leaning, but enable the conservative men in their life. And I think that's part of the problem. Is that we have too many female enablers out there allow and look the other way as Republican men and conservative men commit atrocities. See this with the problematic pastors out there. You see this with so many people, is that there's some of these guys do these things, and these women stand by these guys. And I gotta call bullshit at some time. And I've seen this in my own social circles where women go silent. And the problem is, going silent in the voting booth has killed this country. And when women went away with the Women's March, and when the problem with Democrats, the problem with left side, is that we quit. We quit when we think we got it. And we lay up and we laid up during Biden. We literally shit the bed. We don't want to work anymore. And we stopped doing the work for 4 fucking years. And they ignored the crisis. They decided attacks towards reproductive rights, trans human rights, and many other things. And now we're seeing the consequence. We're seeing a government that knows Democrats don't fight back. And whatever resistance we do, it's a little too late. There is going to be some atrocities these next 2 years till we wrestle control of Congress back, if we do. And I'm not confident the Democrats will step up. I see a few governors doing the work. I see a few people doing the work. But the Democrats' track record is horrible. Is horrible in these times. And it just damn near takes a Pearl Harbor level incident to get us off our ass. And I'm not sure we're there. I'm not sure we've learned our fucking lesson. Democrats are fucking stupid. And I'm a registered Democrat. and I vote left. I'm always going to vote left. I always believe in progress. But I'm telling y'all, our loyal listeners that skew to the left side of the ledger, you better get off. I'm speaking to the people that sat out the last couple of elections. I'm not talking about the people that vote or volunteer or whatever. I'm talking about the dead ass 18 million people that voted for Biden that didn't vote for Harris, that sat out a fucking election, that elected a dictator for absolutely no reason. And we're watching atrocities happen. We're watching the early stages of a genocidal maniac making a profit off people's misery. The Trump family accumulated over $10 billion in wealth this year. In less than a year. This is the real thing. This is why he wanted to be back in office, accumulate wealth, and accumulate wealth for people who put him in the spot. It was election bought and paid for by the worst humans ever. And they've put into the government the worst humans ever. And on our next segment, we're going to talk about Charlie Kirk. We're going to talk about it a lot of reasons. And I'm going to talk about why Charlie Kirk is a distraction issue. After these messages from Two Queers in a Truck. Hey y'all, this is Jetty with Two Queers in a Truck, and Christian's along with me. And we're just having fun, and we're looking forward to the 2025 season. And super excited. We have some neat things going on in our whole family of shows, including Coffee and Pan Dulce, and many new shows that are brewing. Get it. And we are excited for 2025 and all the chicanery and other things that comes with it. So happy New Year, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Bye, boo.
Bye, boo.
Hi everybody, this is Gersemi from the Espera Cash Show over here. All I'm here is doing a little quick PSA. Use this summer to do volunteer work. Go to your nearest YMCA, go to your nearest homeless shelter, go to whatever community services or programs that you can help out and volunteer. Because right now, we have a bunch of fascist pieces of shit trying to rip apart our country and rip apart the people, our communities, by spreading hate and bigotry. The best way to combat it is, one, working in your community and standing strong to show that you are strong and you're here to help out others. Two, combat misinformation. If you hear bullshit, first research and make sure if it's true or not. If it is not true, call it out. If it is true, get the facts. Be knowledgeable of it, because it might come out later. So always stand against that. And three, fuck fascists. Stand against them. Make them feel uncomfortable. There is too many people out there feeling like they can say the hard R or say slurs or be violent. Make them understand that a lot of people die to make sure this hatred and bigotry does not exist. All our civil rights workers, all the people who restored Normandy, everybody who fought against intolerance and hatred, they died and worked their asses off to stop this. So follow in their footsteps and stop this madness. This is Yorense again from Espera Que, and all I can say is be there for your community and stand up for what's right. Fuck fascism and have a wonderful day.
We are back. We're going to go right at it. Charlie Kirk was a problematic human being in his career. He went around college campuses and picked on teenagers with nonsensical, specious arguments that was amounted to basically going out and being a little Nazi bully. And he did that for his entire career. But at the same time, he was a non-factor to Republicans. Never held a post in the Trump administration, both in the first administration or the second administration. He's never held a position in the Republican Party. So as much of the gnashing of the teeth and the wailing at the wall and the flags at half-mast for a non-civil rights leader, we see how they really thought about it. And they didn't give him a handout job of any kind. No appointment, no glamour appointment, nothing. Not as a political fundraiser, not as a position. He had no paid positions in both the government and or the MAGA Republican Nazi Party.
Mm-hmm.
He had his Turning Point USA that he made money off, made millions off. And his widow skimmed even more, raised $5 million in a week. Not that she needed it, because Turning Point's got like $12 million in the bank. But, hey, times are tough. But, cold beer's going for whatever it's going for. And I guess, Trump did bring those prices down after all. But think about this for a second. Every crony mattered got a Trump appointment. You got to ask yourself, if Charlie Kirk was that important to that movement, why did he not get a Trump appointment? And why was he the one that was assassinated when he had no government pull? Well, this guy was just going around college campuses bullying college students. Think about this for a second. And the fact that it was a MAGA alt-right hyper-religious nut job that shot him and shot Charlie Kirk the same distance that the fake Trump shooter last year supposedly hit Trump's ear. Now you got to ask yourself, basically from the same rooftop vantage point, about the same distance, the same shot, why? Both of them have a lot in common. Both of them happened about the same time of the year. Both of them were Trump motivated. Both of them were needed for the Trump train not to get derailed. They needed a distraction of epic proportion. And they needed something to justify the sheer terrorism that they're doing. To justify the invasion of cities. And we'll talk more about these invasions of cities. And that's what they are. They're invasions of the cities that are predominantly blue cities, economic powerhouses. Why are they doing this? And I'll come back and I'm going to tell you why they're doing it in the last segment. But it's weird that they shot a guy that was an alt-right assassin, an absolute nut job. Why Charlie Kirk? And I'm just putting it out to the universe. Why shoot him? He has no power. In the grand scheme of things, he has no control of anything the Trump administration does. He didn't have control over party politics or state politics or nothing. This guy just had a little freak show, road show that he ran around college campuses bullying college students, teenagers mostly, like 18, 19, 20-year-old kid, fresh out of high school. That was his scam. But this guy had no sway on actual policy. This guy didn't have any more sway on policy than I do. So it makes no sense other than his assassination was a needed distraction. Who would benefit from Charlie Kirk being killed that way? You have to ask yourself, and which side of the ledger killed him? And which side of the ledger pretended to care? I don't care whether Charlie Kirk's alive or dead. I don't wish him dead, but I don't really care. I have no dog in that fight, so to speak. I don't know him. I didn't like him. I didn't like his politics. I don't like the way he behaved. I think he was a big. I think he was a pot stirrer, but in the grand scheme of things, he was about as effective as a fart in a hurricane. The truth was, he just went around bullying kids, starting out life, their adult life, on college campuses. This guy didn't make any difference with his life at all. He literally made a difference in public policy. If anything, he galvanized college students and hated the conservatives more, which Gen Z and the younger generations overwhelmingly are progressive.
Exactly.
Galvanized.
No, you're so true, because most of the people that went to his events were people who did like him.
Yeah. And so this guy was not effective. He was not involved with public policy. So you have to ask yourself why this was so important. Think about it. And I'm not telling you what to think. I'm not going to even suggest what I'm suggesting. I'm not going to even spell it out. I think people need to think about this. I think it needs to be food for thought. I may address it next week's show. Stay tuned. But I did want to squeeze this in before we wrap up the show. The Republican Nazis got busted for using South American riot pics to justify the invasion of Portland. So they used riot pics. Weren't from Portland. They were from South American riots. And they flat out got busted. And the Republican Party of Oregon responded with a very cavalier admission, which is typical of the Republican Party. We're not reporters. We're just bad memers. So they're like, just bad at our jobs. Really. Really. That the same people that won all levels of the federal government last year are bad at their jobs all of a sudden. Okay. No, you knowingly used pics from not the United States to stir up or gin up support for the invasion of your state, saying we need you here, we need to send in troops. You're legally sending troops in. It's not going to work. American people aren't going to put up with it, especially in these cities. But the reason why they're attacking these cities, they're trying to disrupt these cities the same way they've crippled the rural areas. So the resistance won't come from the rural areas where the sheep are out there just rolling over. What they're trying to do is take over the more powerful cities. They're trying to break the back of Democrats' strongholds because they know that's who's going to win the midterms. Is major metropolitan areas. People hopefully will come out in force next year. We need them to. We need Dallas to vote at more than 5% or 6%. Charlotte, like 7 or 8%. Like, we need turnouts in the least 25 to 40%, not 8%, 9%, 10%, like barely double digits sometimes. We got to get Democrats off their data asses, so to speak, and show up. Democrats are the largest political party in Texas. And we can't win shit in that state. Because Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, and Austin don't turn up. They don't turn out. Those cities are overwhelmingly filled with registered Democrats that just stay home. So we got to figure it out. We got to get it together. It can't always be Republican incompetence to the rest of them. We got to quit failing forward. Eventually, not going to get any more Mullins. The world is catching up to us. The world don't need us. And the world's about to prove it. And we're about to be shut out of the world economic global trade. And we may not be able to get back in this time. If we're not going to get any smarter, there are other countries now that produce a lot of soybean and corn. We are happy to take that business from us. And many other products. The world has caught up to us economically. We're not the only show now anymore. As I need to say, we need to pull our collective heads out of our asses. The Aunt Jenny wagging her fingers and Gersemi saying, come on, guys. It's time. It's time to kick it in gear. Not next year, right before the election, right now. The best time to do something is right now. And that's all we have for this week. And I came back with a month off, still full of piss and vinegar.
That's
but I'm
right.
fired up. And we need to have that attitude. We can't just be defeatists.
Yep.
We can't just say all is bad. It's not all bad. There's a lot of good stuff going on. There's a lot of positive news. But we got to focus when we need to focus. And we need to support the right candidates for the next year. And we need to start supporting them right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because between now and December is filing time. So we got to make sure the right candidates are running. We got to get the support so that it's an overwhelming landslide in 2026. And we can begin to unravel the madness that is the Trump dumpster fire. Pure and simple. But it's all we have. And we will talk to you next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Bye, boo.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for listening to Two Cruising in the Truck, as always do. We got fresh shows for October. And this is the time for Halloween. And we're glad, as always, that y'all are loyal listeners and viewers. And we will see you next week. Be safe out there. Bye, y'all.
Bye, pumpkin spice. That's a good name.
Good one.
Bye, boo.